Yo, 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 yo. Oh god. Internet? Alright, everything looks stable. How's it going? I'm back. What are we doing today? Yesterday was a bit of a nightmare. We only got to do one of the things out of the three that I wanted to. So, we'll make up for that today. I'm gonna start with EQ. Because I want to just kind of... I don't know. I want to do something I enjoy for a little bit. Hi, Cryptacy. And then maybe even we'll do this kind of in tandem with each other. Let's do more VR game dev stuff. Let me see if we can get the drawing working in VR, so then we can move on to the harder step of training a neural net to recognize drawings or images, basically. So we can activate spells or just activate anything based off of a drawing. I got a message, a whisper from someone random just now. Greetings. Who is this person? Hold on, getting distracted. Looking for a solid casual guild to roll with. Lineage is asking... I'm so weird about committing to a guild. I don't know anything about these people. I'd like to spend time with them before I'm just like, yeah, I'll join your guild. I mean, they're probably great people. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they might be bad people. I'm saying I don't know much about them. I've seen the name around. I'd love to spend some time with some of your members to get to know you all a bit before I'll just be upfront with them. Am I gonna try and get into the 1.3 alpha in Zenith? Isn't it all under NDA? Maybe it's not after the alpha. Give me a sec, I'll respond to that. Maybe the alpha lifts the NDA. It could just be for my own enjoyment. Okay, here's the thing. I'm sure there's going to be a good handful of people that are just waiting and dying for me to play Zenith again. So I definitely want to try all the new stuff. Okay, that's a no-brainer. I'm gonna be there to try it. But I don't want to like burn myself out of Zenith early before I like am allowed to stream it, because I want to give... Am I being too selfless about this? Because you even specifically said for your own enjoyment. I could enjoy it on stream and share it and learn and go through it together, or I could learn it all and possibly play too much. I don't know. I'm like I'm struggling today. Shit. I don't know. Cause like I don't know if you've noticed like the way I kind of play games in general. Cause it's a bit. Oh my god, did I go the wrong way? Yeah, I'm on autopilot to the wrong place. Let me turn around. I gotta go pick up my body, and then we're gonna do some swarm kiting for a little bit. I'll like get into a game and I'll just be in love with it and obsessed with it, and like I don't want to do pretty much anything else other than play it until I suck it dry of all its enjoyment. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what? And I'm not like upset when I put the game aside or anything. I'm more like, damn, look at how many hours of like enjoyment I got out of this title. Like, that's awesome. I was able to enjoy it for that long. And then usually I'll just put it on the side and like I won't touch it unless it's one of those primo best games I've ever played. Then I'll go back and play it like a couple years later when I've kind of forgotten most of it, and then like kind of experience it again. That's always really fun. But I'm just like I'll play something, and if I like it, I'm gonna like want to do nothing but play that. So if I get into the pre-alpha and Zenith, this is all a ramble to say, like, I'm gonna want to do nothing but play the alpha. Maybe I can make a better decision about it if I don't know if they've set a date. I haven't really been following any news on Zenith. I'm just getting it through other people telling me. I don't know how long they're going to be in alpha. My guess is probably at least a couple months, because the whole idea of an alpha is to smooth out bugs, so it's probably going to take time before they feel confident in it and release it. Crypty says, might sound kind of dumb, but get those 10 invites. Get those 10 invites to get access to it? Only play a bit and limit yourself in Zenith? Oh, I see. I could. Probably most YouTubers play a game before they stream it. I kind of like... And maybe it's a bad idea, but no, I like it. I like giving my first raw experiences genuinely to chat and like have those recorded, because then otherwise, like, I guess I don't have to fake it. I could be like, hey, I played a little bit beforehand, but then I feel bad because I'm like robbing that genuine first experience. I don't know. This is my brain. Welcome to my brain. These are the things I think about. Yeah, it'll probably at least be a couple months for it being in alpha. I'll think about it. I promise you that. But like, I'd like to think things through maybe too much before I like commit or give a decision on things, because I hate, like, I like to stick to what I say, you know what I mean? Like if I claim something's gonna happen, I'm like, I'll get like depressed if I don't if I like don't do it, because I just like feel hella bad. Thank you, Cryptosea. Go to something you enjoy. I'll consider it. I'll message you too on what I decide, since you're interested. Dude, is it still hella dark? Should I boost the gamma more, you guys? Please don't run into that chicken. Like, not looking at my screen. I'm gonna boost gamma a little bit more. It's not like super dark. What was I saying before about the VR stuff? VR dev stuff. Okay, so one of the big problems I'm running into, which is solvable, is the fact that getting drawing working in VR is... I think I have the bones of it done, and the only one tiny silly thing I'm getting caught up on is... I don't know the language, the commands, the arguments used in coding to talk to XR Origin, which is Unity's VR plugin that helps with compatibility across all the different headsets that exist. So instead of being like, you know, grab the index controller, right trigger, and then do this kind of action in code, it's grab the primary select button or activate button, because that is a button that translates to all the controllers, right? So I just need to figure out that verbiage because it's changed, and the stuff that ChatGPT is outputting is, you know, old nomenclature. So once I have that down, everything else should go a lot more smoothly. And it's a very important thing that I learn just so... Sorry, I was like tripping on what weapon goes here. It's important to learn because it's going to be used to activate any sort of button presses and then do code. You know what I mean? So to learn that, either I pull up some... What do I do? Honestly, looking at the documentation is pretty confusing to me. So I'm wondering if I can just find somebody who can explain it well in a video, and we can just watch that. And then understand the nomenclature, and then just make edits to ChatGPT's code where it's using the old nomenclature, and we can just do a quick find and replace, use the new, and we should be golden. So... we'll take a look at that. We'll learn that. If I can find the resources, which I can, it's just kind of a matter of time. When I find those, everything's going to be moving pretty smoothly again. So I think what we'll do is, since it's going to involve watching videos, more than likely... I could have those playing while we swarm kite, and then kind of write down timestamps where it's showing the stuff that I need, as far as like, you know, the words where we can write them down, etc. Oh, there's another bard. Okay, we're gonna have competition. Honestly, I kind of forgot that that was the thing at these times. What level's that bard? I think I'm gonna go this way and wrap around. He might be going to kill right now. I can try and just grab 40 things. I like doing massive pulls. There's not gonna be a lot of stuff though. Maybe we'll cap our pull at 40 monsters and then go and swarm kite them down. Saw a chicken over here. Grab him. So after this kill and pull, I'll start digging for those resources, and we'll scrub through some stuff. And all I need is people writing example of like how to activate things based off of button presses. I saw one example of it, and maybe I can get it to work, but it just seems odd that like, I want to use if statements, but maybe I could just nest the if statement inside to have multiple conditions for something to trigger. Oh shit, you know what? That would work. Wait, I might have the solution right now. That might work. So basically, the way I found to call a command was to just basically, in the update function, always have it checking for a button press, and then it runs a second, shit, what's the proper word for them? It runs a different module of code. What are they called? Function. And then right when that function starts, I can just put the if statement with the other conditions I want it to also check. And that way I can have a script for just like player controls. And it's just like all the trigger stuff is there, all the A button presses are there, all the B button presses are there and what they should do, and the if statements for when what should happen and what's appropriate. Shit, that would work actually. Okay, just thinking this through, I think has already solved my problem. Now I want to try it. I'm not going to forget. I got it locked in. That could work. God, I almost start... I think we should almost start doing netcode stuff soon. Because I'm not familiar with how much that's going to change the way I code things. And I'm guessing it's probably a lot. Or maybe I just need to output certain variables to netcode so that they can be tracked and used. Which would be an easy change of just the output. Because let's think it through. How do multiplayer games work? Well, they need access to all the other players' data. Well, what is all that data? Let's break that down. What's their position, right? So like where they actually are in the world. So positional data, and that gets a little bit more complicated with VR because it's not just where the player is and just play the standard animation of them sitting there. But it's also... There's that other guy with his swarm. We might just end up going and killing these. I'll check on these humps, see if you missed some stuff through here. And then we'll go kill. It's also like where your motion controllers are. So we're tracking 3 points, right? The head and the 2 hands. We gotta constantly be sending that data. And the more we're sending the data, the more we flood the line, so to speak. And it's like harder to, you know, not have a laggy experience the more data that's getting sent through the pipeline. But we can't like... We need to update that stuff frequently. We need access to that data frequently, the positional data, or else you'll get choppy VR movement that other players see instead of like smooth movement. So we need to start playing with that. I think the hardest stuff is just all the positional data because that's like a lot of updates. The rest should be a lot easier. It's like, okay, just calculate damage for velocity, you know, since we have that working for melee on client side, and just send the output. Like when all the calculations are done, then send that output there to the mass server that runs the game world. And then you can be like, okay, this damage was dealt there. So you can subtract it for everybody in the world. So that they see the damage you're dealing to a monster, right? So yeah, my biggest worry is just positional data. So if we can get that down, and it's been done before, it's not like I'm doing anything new. So maybe someone's shown how to do it in the process. Maybe ChatGPT will just know as well. I bet you ChatGPT will know. We're just gonna have to adjust nomenclature, like I was saying before on the VR Origin stuff. Okay, this pack is pretty big. So we'll start running to the kill spot. We're in a new zone here. I'm 45. We're in a hell level, which means it requires a lot more experience to level than a normal level. But, you know, that's not a big deal for me. We just swarm kind of away, and we'll be there before we know it. This is the Badlands. Mono told me where to go next, and this was the spot. And so far, it's got pretty good pickings. Stuff is a little bit spaced out, but there's a lot of stuff. And since Bard speed's getting faster each level, it's not a big deal to just run around and pick stuff up. Those. Are we getting close to our spot? I think so. Why is there a spider running through here? I've never seen a spider come up here. It's a bit scary. So this is where we're gonna be doing our killing. It's definitely not even ground, but it's away from the spiders, and it's just gonna take a little bit of practice to get used to this. Shit, did I lose most of my pack? I might have leashed some of them. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's tighten them up, and then we'll start killing. I'm gonna do some left circles as well. Does it make sense to tighten them both left and right? I don't know. Okay. They look pretty packed on one spot. So we'll get ready. I can hear them, but I don't see them. There they are. So the difference in elevation makes this a bit scarier. Because they might be closer than they appear or farther than they appear, so using my regular, like, markers for knowing how close I need to get them, is a bit more fluid. So, we'll see how it goes. I'll try and figure it out. The loot song's going to be a lot harder to get off. I think I'll try and do it more on flat areas. It's pretty good. I kind of have to do these elongated circles here too, which makes things a bit more difficult. Because I could run into an invisible wall. I should probably check how far out those are. If I go too far. And that'll kill me. But this is definitely one of the harder spots to swarm kite that I've found so far. It's still probably the best, but the fact that stuff is not level is making my damage output a little bit slower. Pretty good. Much better. Okay, I'm more consistently getting the loot spell off. Some of them are dying. Okay, we got a lot of deaths. It's good. Keep this up. I'm getting awfully close to them. But maybe it's just because their models are bigger. I mean, it feels like they're closer. I don't know if their melee range is farther because their model's bigger, but this feels very scary. These guys seem to have a lot of HP too. Timing's a bit off. Haven't got the loot spell off in a while. Scared to get close. Better. This is such a hard area to do this in. I think most of the pack is dead. I'm just gonna finish off the last. Whoops. Okay, I like the circle a lot better. This is working good for me. Just gonna do this tighter circle than going elongated. I'm getting both the loot and the horns damage over time song off a lot more often. Hello, Chunkla. It's hard to to read chat and do this when I'm in killing mode. Because if I get hit by any of these, I just die. I explode. But yeah, this is swarm kiting. And you have a bit of experience with EverQuest, so you know how hard it is to kill, like, you know, one thing, let alone a couple at once, and how much damage that does. Oh shit. So the fact that I can pull this many, and I have to keep them close enough for my really short AoE spell to hit, or it's a song, but far enough away that, you know, they're not in melee range. And that distance is like really small, like just like a couple feet. So it's kind of like I'm dancing on a knife edge the whole time, or walking a tightrope until all of them die. So one slip up means explosion, which means I have to grab all these again. It's a big setback, but I'm dead. Oh my god. Activate speed. Activate speed. Oh, I ran into a tree. That's my bad. Most of the pack was dead though, so that's... I think we got more XP than we lost. We'll check. Yeah, most of the pack died, so that's good. Oh my god, there's 3 bards total in there, including me, who are swarm kiting as well. Rest in peace. It is what it is. And now we'll chat. I think food's here for me. Yes. How dare they? They only gave me 1 chip. The bastards. Alright, let me get some of these goodies in front of me. And I'll start running. I guess we could do both at the same time. How long did it take me to get a hang of this? There's definitely like hours and hours of practice, and I still fuck up. It's definitely like a hard thing to do. But I'd say if anyone sat down and practiced it, they could get it down where they're killing more often than dying, and like 3 to 6 hours. And then it's from there, it's just about fine tuning to where you're dying even less. How much XP did we get? Okay, so we're like 3 bars into 45, which is really good. 45 is a hell level. Takes way longer to experience through 45 than the other levels. Like 3 times more XP. So basically, in the time it would take to get 3 prior levels is about the same time as it would take to get from 45 to 46. So we're almost out of the hell level already. In 1 pull, we probably got about 2 bars of XP, maybe a little bit more. And then once we hit 46, it's going to start flying again. It's going to go really fast. Oh, this is the wrong way. We'll go back to zone. We're not too far away from our body. It'll take like a couple minutes. I'm going to snack while we run. I want to turn face cam on too, but I'm eating. Mukbang? Hold on. Dude, I saw this weird clip of like there's a bunch of people under like under a street bridge in Tokyo, like hundreds. And they all were super close to each other, and they all had like a seat, a chair. Like every single one of them had ring lights, and they were all just like live streaming. It's like, what's happening here? That turkey emote. Okay, this is the zone line I need to go into. Wait, what? I'm looking for my capture device. There it is. Okay. Where am I? Up in the corner. Let's go down here. Hello, chat. I got Chipotle. It's been a while, and I always think it's pretty good. So I'll be munching on this. I think we'll get our body, and then I'll see if I can get that piece of code working. Also, maybe we should just have some of the VR game dev videos that explain XR Origin and how it functions as of now. While we're doing this. Yeah. It depends on who's filling your burritos. Some of them load them up, some of them don't. And maybe they've gotten, I don't know, as like a company, a little bit harsher on their standards. So they're like, stop giving away so much free food. But if you DoorDash Chipotle, it's like almost always skimmed. Like, the difference between going in and DoorDashing Chipotle, if you go into Chipotle and you look off to the side, you'll see like a separate station of people with their own food and like, you know, tins in there where they're scooping stuff out way off in a corner. And that's all the DoorDash orders. And I think they care a lot less because they get a ton of orders, so they're just like trying to throw shit together fast. And they don't have to see the people in person. Like, here, I made this for you. And there's that like face-to-face interaction. I hope you enjoy it. Because they'll feel a bit more ashamed if they put it together shitty and like hand it to you and look in your eyes and say, enjoy this meal. But with a DoorDash, you know, it's completely disconnected. I gotta say though, look at how long. Why are these giant pieces of lettuce in here? Like, it's a little bit hard to scoop out. No, where's that tree I ran into? We're here. You guys see my back muscles? They're out of control. Okay. So we're reset. We're good to go. There's some other bards in the zone. I don't know where they're swarming and killing. I wish I had a better spot than here. Because the ground is so uneven here, it makes it a lot harder to gauge how close the swarm is. Should I test out that piece of code now? I kind of want to. Okay, so I had an idea just a bit earlier on stream where I can add if statements within a module, within a function, for those button presses, and that should solve my problems. Okay. So, I'm pretty sure I undid it all. Hopefully I just commented it out. This script, draw in 3D. And we have these if statements here for checking if the controller is pressed, but I need the old. Where do I put this? I could just put it here lazily, but it might be better elsewhere. Hold on. Okay, there's a video I was watching. Where is he? From this guy. Let me see if I can find it. I think I found it under playlists. Ooh, XR Interaction Toolkit tutorials. That would be super good. New input systems. That was updated 3 days ago. That might tell me what I need. Should we just derail and watch this? He's got a bunch of shorts in here. This was made 2 years ago. No. Was it movement in VR?
Basically.
Yeah, where's the jump? Jump.
Hey, welcome back. You'll notice we're in a new space. My wife
Like 840.
did on jump.
Why is this in the start function though, and not the update to constantly check for it? That's what I don't understand. Because to re-trigger it, wouldn't it have to keep checking? I guess not if he did it here. Okay, so jump action reference dot action dot and then the name of the oh wait, no, he's not done typing.
So let's go down here below update.
Jump action reference dot action dot performed plus equals run this function. So let's comment out the stuff we're not going to need anymore. The controller. And so what we're doing here is, what did I call it? Is it called activate? Activate action reference? I need to find out. What I'm doing here is just getting something to trigger on controller press. It's going to start allowing the user to draw in VR. Because we need to get that working before we can do any sort of spell activation based off of it. I just spilled everything in my hand. They give me napkins? No, why would they? So let me back up here.
We have all of these references to different actions. You'll see we now
Because I need
have
to know what he named his
to be
other action.
a XR controller left hand, and then we're going to go into optional controls and primary button.
I think it is activate.
This will be the A button, I believe. Yeah,
And
the
he's-
A
he's
button
calls his
or the
jump.
X button on.
It's lowercase. So it might be converting all the text to lowercase. And mine's called activate. So it's the name of the action and then action reference dot action dot did it happen performed. Okay. So our name of our action is activate action reference dot action dot performed plus equals, and then we give it a name. Let's call it just draw. No, don't autofill for me. And now we need to make the draw function. So I think instead here of a void update, we're going to change this to void draw. Okay, that references this here. And then we can get rid of the trigger and trigger value. But we want the is drawing. So if we're not drawing, then we're going to start drawing. So is drawing changes to true. It starts doing a line render. I don't know if it's going to track the position of the controller. So we're going to need to add that. We got some parameters for the line that's being drawn in 3D space. And then within that function, we can do an else if is drawing. Then we stop drawing. We turn the line off. When do we turn drawing off, though? Oh, it turns off here. No, that's not gonna work. Because it's going to keep looping here. Because is drawing is true. So we just need to change this else if to maybe activate action reference dot action. What is the opposite of performed? Deformed? I don't know if that's the right nomenclature. I basically need the opposite of perform so we can have an off toggle. So why don't we... Maybe I'll try and dig through the reference material again. XR origin... what is it called? Documentation? Wait, 2.11. What's new? This is not documentation. Where's all the regular documentation? It should be like a massive list. Okay. This looks more right. So, God, how do we even find what we need here? This is where it's going to be a mess because it's so big. Basically, I need to find the section that describes how to activate actions. Let's see if any of these fall under that category. Game objects, utilities, no. Component host, layer mask, list extensions, materials, math utility. Read only attributes. Scriptable settings. No. Unity object utilities? No. Just under XR origin? It's just all about the camera. Core utilities, editor. Maybe this isn't what I need. It's the interaction. Maybe that's why. I need to be looking at the XR origin. What's it called? XR Interaction Toolkit documentation. Interaction layers. Okay, this might be it. I need... Okay, several behaviors such as the snap term provider have two variants, an action-based behavior and a device-based behavior. Action-based behaviors use actions to indirectly read input from one or more controls. Device behaviors use input device dot try get feature value to read an input directly from an input device from a specific control configured on the behavior itself. It is recommended that you use the action-based variant instead of the device-based variant to take advantage of the benefits of the input system package provides. For example, it separates the logical inputs from the physical inputs, and users can create and switch between customized action mats, bind multiple cross-platform controller inputs. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Actions is blue. Let me look at this. Input actions are designed to separate the logic meaning of an input and the physical means of input. Okay. So gamepad.rightstick.readValue. What are mine called though? Because this is just generic Unity stuff. Gameplay actions dot disable. Enable, disable. Oh, perform. Here we go. Fire action dot performed. And it triggers those things. It's putting them on the awake function. So void on enable. On disable. It disables these. Still don't understand. The look action, gameplay actions, activate action. When you enable an action, the input system resolves its bindings unless it's been done already. While enabled, an action actively monitors the controls it's bound to. If a bound control changes state, the action processes the change. And if the control's change represents an interaction change, the action creates a response. All of this happens during the system update logic. Okay, each action has a started, performed, and canceled callback. Each action map has an action trigger callback. The input action system has a global input system.onAction. You can pull the current state of the action, input action trace. Action was started, action was performed, action was canceled. Okay. So then it's going to output Okay, so the action's done. Why does it say void on disable though? 'Cause it's not feeding these into anything else. You must manually enable and disable actions and action maps that are embedded in mono behavior components. Okay. I think it automatically disables when it knows the trigger is off. Okay, this is super important. I need to save this and dig through it more later. But I think we might have what we need to get the drawing script working now. So it should automatically turn itself off. So this will run, but then on disable, I need to turn it off. I'm just gonna comment this part out. And see if it complains. We've got the action for pulling the trigger. It's gonna activate the draw function here. We're gonna start drawing lines. And if we're not drawing, we do this. It's only gonna work once. So we have nowhere that it's actually turning off drawing. So maybe we can do an activate action reference dot action. What do I need to pull out of this? Where can I loop to say that we're not drawing anymore? This is the confusing part. I guess I can deal with that later. And let's just see if it complains anywhere with this. Did I spell everything right? Activate action reference dot action dot performed. Is it not called activate? $21.9. Where were those input devices? Project settings? No. It was in here, right? Default inputs. This one. No, stop. There's no cancel option here. Please don't open the Microsoft Store. Where's the input manager? Input manager. Trigger button. No, where is it? XR device controller controls. This is to simulate it. XRI default actions. Right hand. Left hand. Interaction. Activate. I'm pretty sure activate is what we want. Trigger pressed on right hand controller. How do I call this action though? It's activate action reference dot action dot performed. See, this is the big hump that as soon as I figure this out, things should smooth out quite a bit.
We're gonna execute this method on jump. So let's
Jump action reference dot action dot performed, and he added it. Where?
right to 1 and actually up the default and the right hand. And inside of the left hand and right hand, the reason we imported this sample is because we have all of these already set up. We don't have to set them up ourselves. Actions are like press a button.
That's where
it's
I went.
The
Left
select,
hand, right
which is the grip
hand.
button usually. Activate is the trigger. UI
Activate.
press is
And he created one called Jump. XR controller. Trigger pressed. It's on his left hand. And then
input action reference to that specific action, and it's super easy. It's like 2 lines of code. So let's go back up to XR those 2 different actions. You'll see we now have a jump reference.
that's still saved, right? Okay. Well, it's already I didn't make a new one. It's just trigger. It's just a default action. So I don't need to add it there.
Right here. So, and make a new component, and I'm going to call it player controller. This is just going to be a script, and let's double click on that and jump into the code. Let's create that input action reference. So we're going to do a serialized field private input action reference. And my IDE automatically imported this, but make sure you have using Unity Engine
That's what I'm
input
missing.
system.
Okay. I forgot. So using Unity Engine .input system. Good. And then we need a private input action reference.
In order to reference. And then we also need a jump force. So how high
We're
or
gonna call it, in our case, activate action reference.
are you going to be able to?
Okay, that should be it. So now on our drawing controller, no overload for draw matches delegate. Maybe it can't be a void. it not be a void function?
To jump, this one's going to be something like 500. I 0 of the opponent's on assigning a action private. This, the inside of these parentheses, you're going to need an input action callback context, and we're just going to say object. All right. Now
Why
you
though?
jump. Well, you.
Why do I need to call that back to an object? Okay, we'll do it though, because I am missing that. Void draw input action dot callback context object. Save it. Re-upload. No errors anymore. But what actually happens? Okay, VR controllers are on. Sensors are booting up, so give it a second. Okay. So trigger. You know what I need? I need some debug commands to see if it's actually drawing anything. Ooh, it's not. The XR controller is not set either. Which we can't set any of them. Maybe it's called like an interaction or an action-based controller. God, I ran into this issue earlier and I went down this rabbit hole. Hold on. Okay, so I just want to know if this is happening. So let's do debug.log. We'll just output the isDrawing value, and then let's do another debug.log. That says ran through line code. I just want to know if this function's actually triggering based off of the trigger press, and if it's able to continue to do so. Because then we can narrow down the drawing part. So let's pull up the console. Okay. So I'm pulling the trigger. And nothing's getting output to console. Is this still working and outputting to console? Yes. Okay, so velocity and damage dealt still working. And directional data. So this isn't working. Did I set it? I probably didn't set it, huh? I don't even see it here. We have to set that action reference. Let's not do private. Let's do public. And then we should have another option here. Good. We do activate. XRI right hand activate. Okay, so now it's pointing to that trigger to check for. Let's see if it outputs it now. Okay, and it ran through the whole line of code. So now I just have to fix the drawing thing, but it's only working once. And it's probably because I have that if statement in, where it's checking if the drawing value is true. So why don't we just get rid of... Let's just get rid of all of this. And then we don't need an if statement. So we'll erase those. We'll erase these. And now we just need to get the line drawing working. Because now it should activate every time I press the trigger. Trigger, true, trigger, happened again. Okay, you see how that time's updating? Okay, that is perfect. That is perfect. So now we just need to get positional data of the controller. Is it an input we can grab? Let's move over to ChatGPT. ChatGPT last week has a bit rough. What the fuck is this? Hello? I'm on some crazy site. Not chatgpt.com. Your session has expired. Okay. Let me log in. Okay, sweet. So what do I need to ask it? We need to ask it to get the position. Hold on. Let me scroll to the top here. So we're going to use these. And they're new action-based. Interaction toolkit. Let's see if it knows. They don't have information on the new action-based interaction toolkit, as it may be a recent development after my knowledge cut update. Please provide more specific details or specific questions about the toolkit, and I'll do my best to aid you. So this new update is gonna make me using ChatGPT a little bit harder for the interaction there. We'll have to do some self-coding on those areas. Let me see how the laser module is getting access to the controller's position location. And we should be good. Interaction manager. Okay, let me hit play and take a look at the code. So left-hand controller and right-hand controller are the same. Script XR interaction line visual. So get line points and hit point for rendering. Core utilities is being used as a library reference. So gets the polygonal chain representation by a list of endpoints from which line segments to approximate the curve. Hold on. Where's the function where we're actually casting the line? Probably here. This is line width. This is line width again. Line length. Animation curve. Color gradient, don't care. Color keys, don't care. Forces the use of valid state visuals, no. Delaying the segment. Smooth movement. Snap threshold. Run setup reticle. M reticle equals value if application is playing. Stop line at raycast hit. I still don't see it. Here we go. Controls whether the visual's line will snap to an endpoint if the ray hits an interactable snap volume. End position line. This is just snapping it. This smooths movement. Cast reference to C XR origin. I still don't see. I don't see where it's tracking yet. It might be further down. This is kind of a big line of code. It probably has to set a vector 3 position, right? So I could search for all vector 3 points, but maybe not. Vector 3 is just like an x, y, and z axis value, like a variable that can hold those 3 values. Find XR origin. Set up reticle. Set up block reticle. Clear line render. Update settings. Update line visual. Tries to get the hit info from the current and check to see if there's any collisions. Returns if we have a valid collision. This isn't what I need either. Calculates the target render points based on the targeted snapped endpoint and the actual position of the raycast line. No. I'm going to keep scrubbing through this. I should move to just chatting. Sanity check. Okay, void update settings. I'm digging through some older code. Enjoy dinner. To see how it's grabbing the VR controller's position, because I'm gonna need that to basically track where the line is being drawn, because it needs to follow the controller's position. And I don't see it. Is set position? Okay, so there's a set position here. In an array, and then a set position here. Set reticle position and show reticle. Where's our vector 3s? M reticle transform position equals M reticle position. Where's it getting this, though? Where is it generating these M update previous points? Array.copy. I don't know where it's getting these things. Let's see if I can just Google it. XR interaction toolkit. XR origin. C# code for tracking controller position. Why is this so hard to find information? All these are like generic stuff and not like an answer to my question. Here we go. Here's a forum post of someone asking this same question. I think I got it solved with autocomplete working. I think I can get information from there. Controller.transform. We'll test it later. Please tell me this worked. It works. Okay, so controller.transform is all you need. So either we have to set the controller variable as an action-based controller, or the XRI one. So we can set it here. We can probably make it a private. And now I just need a piece of code that draws a line based off of position. So write a piece of code for Unity in C# that draws a continuous how do I write this so that it'll understand? That uses a line render to generate to draw a smooth line that follows the mouse position while the mouse is being held down. The mouse is released. Well, just get it done. Let me see if I can at least do that. It's not terribly specific, but let me see here. We've got the line render. Distance between line segments, which would be good. It'd be good to add. We don't need this anymore. Max points 500, so maximum points on the line, which would also be good to add, so people don't go crazy and lag the whole game out. And then we need a vector 3. I'm wondering if this gets a vector 3. Vector 3 is an x, y, and z axis values from controller. Where did I put controller? Did I not put it in here? Action-based controller. How did he get the vector 3 out of it, though? How do I get the location of the controller? Controller.transform. Okay. So controller.transform gets the vector 3. So we also need... Let's do private controller position. Private vector 3 controller position. Okay. Okay, so we can get the vector 3 position of the controller from there. And then private int number of points on a line. So we'll add that. And then on start, we set all the line renders widths and lengths. Okay, I need to do this a little bit better. Let's separate what we need from what we already have. We don't need this anymore. The only extra things that I added that we need are going to be these. So to make this nice and easy, we can grab all of this and we can paste it here, and then we can separate this with this. Okay, looks good. And then in our start function, we need to set up the line render component. So we'll place it here. And then, so the weird thing is this is on an update function, but I'm wondering if it's always going to be an update function within our callback input action. I'm wondering if this will just continue to loop. Well, it's not looping when I hold the trigger. So how do we do this within an update function? Because this needs to constantly be updating while the trigger is pressed. And I don't think that's happening here. It's just doing one action. So does calling an action reference in Unity to trigger a function act as an update function? This is like calling an action reference in Unity to trigger a function does not act as an update function. The update function is Unity built in that is called once per frame and is typically used to update the state of the game objects and perform other time-based operations. On the other hand, an action reference is to delegate that represents a function with no parameters and no return value. It can be used to store a reference and call it. So I can just set something to true, a variable to true that's constantly being checked in the update function, and then it only runs that if it's set to true. That could be my workaround. Man, why are drawing lines in VR so hard for me? I appreciate it, Chunkla. Because maybe I can just say... We can do a public Boolean variable called isDrawing. And then we can just set that as true or false. And that if the trigger is pressed, we just set isDrawing to true. And then it starts grabbing all that stuff. And then, but I need to do like on exit, like when this is not being pressed. Do we just grab the value then? It seems so simple. It's just an on and off switch. But I don't know the nomenclature for the trigger being depressed, like not pressed. Because on here I'm saying activate action reference dot action dot performed. Where did I have the action was canceled? Each callback receives an input action.callback context structure, which holds context information that you can use to query the current state of the action and to read out values from controls that trigger the action. The contents of the structure are only valid for the duration of the callback. In particular, it isn't safe to store received context that's used later. When and how the callbacks are triggered depends on the interactions present in the respective bindings. If the bindings have no interaction that apply to them, the default interaction applies. Input action map dot action triggered callback. Instead of listening to individual actions, you can listen to an entire action map. Started, performed, and canceled callbacks. Started, performed, canceled. Input system on action change. Object can be either an input action or input action map, depending on the specific change. Switch change. Started, performed, or canceled. We could poll it using input action dot read value. Because then we can do it in the update function. Move action read value vector 2. It's definitely in here somewhere, the information I need. And I might be too smooth brain to even notice if I've seen it or not. Player input dot actions pressed was pressed this frame was released. Finally, there are 3 methods you can use to poll for update presses. True if the level of action of this at any point. True if the level of actuation on the action has, at any point during the current frame, gone from being at or above the press point or at or below the release threshold. I think that's what we need. It's called input action was released this frame. Okay, let me grab this. It has to be in the update section, though. It seems so simple. How do I check if it was like the trigger's not being held anymore? Why is my brain breaking on this? Disabled waiting started. The input system has received input that started an interaction, or an action has been completed. What's canceled mean? It doesn't define what canceled means. I almost wonder if that's what we need, though. Okay, let's see. Using Unity's input system, what piece of C# code can trigger a function if an action is no longer being pressed. To be clear, a keybind is set to an action when can. How do I check in code if the key is no longer pressed? It is canceled. Oh, that's all it is. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Okay. So we need activate action reference dot action dot canceled plus equals stop draw. Okay. And then now we can have another function here. And we can just set this to false. And then we can have an update function. I think we're getting close. Now we can have an update function with all of this. Okay. So here we'll check on update if is drawing, which defaults to if that's true, then do all this stuff. Okay? So we're going to have to replace mouse position with VR controllers. And that is our controller dot transform. We need a variable for vector 3 controller position. So controller position equals controller dot transform. Okay. And let's debug here to make sure. I wanted to spit out the controller position value and make sure that that's updating appropriately. Okay, and then add a new point to the line if we haven't reached the maximum number of points. So if number of points, so list the max points, okay. Then we start out adding things. Line render position count equals num points plus 1. Line render set position num points to controller position. And then we add 1 to the number of points on the line. Else, shift all the points a line left to make room for a new point. Okay, this is a loop, loop that's counting. Get position, set position, yes, line render position, number of points. And then we change this to controller position. And maybe we have a working piece of code. Maybe. Please. We have an error. Wait, what? Oh, whoops. What did I call it? Stop draw. Stop. Stop draw. Okay. So it doesn't like the transform. Cannot implicitly convert type Unity Engine.transform to Unity Engine.vector3. How do I... So we have to convert the vector or the controller transform into a vector 3. Write a piece of code for Unity in C# that converts a transform value to a vector 3 value. Transform.position property. We defined a transform variable called myTransform. Then we use the transform.position property to get the position of the vector 3 value. So transform, myTransform, private void on start, vector 3, my vector 3 equals myTransform dot position. So just adding dot position to it. Controller dot transform dot position. Can I have that many dots? Oh, there's no errors anymore. Okay, so I think that converted it. I'm nervous. Okay, drawing controller. We need to assign the line renderer. We have our activate. We have an isDrawing. It's default set to off. Our line width, our color, our line segment size, max points. There's no way. It's not going to work right away. Wait. Okay, so it's not even getting into the if statement. Let's add some debug shit to see where the code's breaking. Hello, Wolf. Yo, thanks for the sub. Things are good. We're doing more... We're doing more coding to see if we can get the drawing in VR working. So do we have an isDrawing variable defined? We do. Let's make it private. Okay. Let's add some debug stuff here. Debug.log. And then let's just say, just give me the isDrawing value. Okay. And do the same for on exit. I want to see if that's happening. Okay, let's make sure the on trigger and on depress of the trigger, pressing the trigger and letting go of the trigger is changing that true false value. Yes, it is more familiar to like Orbis. Okay, console. Okay, it's set to true. I let go. Set to false. Okay, so that's happening. But it's not. We're getting a bunch of errors. Okay, so the on press and the depress is working. It's drawing that's not working. So where is it? Line 46. Just controller dot position. I think it's choking here. Hold on. So controller transfer position is good, but why is it never getting into this if statement? Because if is drawing is true, it should instantly do this. Maybe. Let me make sure it's at least getting to the first step. So let's do. Let me make sure it's getting inside this if statement. Inside if statement. We'll just output that. And see if it's getting in here. Otherwise, what am I doing wrong? Okay. I'm looking at the console at the bottom left. Trigger pressed. True. Inside if statement. And it's constantly being updated. And then it. Oh. It's still inside the if statement, even though the variable was updated to false. Alright, what's happening here? We've got to figure it out. So it's getting in here. We have the variable getting set to false when the controller's not pressed. It's hanging out in here a lot. I wonder why. Maybe it's... Okay, one thing that's for sure not working is the controller position, which is a vector 3. We're setting the controller position to controller.transform, action-based controller, controller. Does this need to be public? And we need to actually assign this? Is this still not getting the controller position? I feel like we're really close. It is possible, Wolf. You're right. Okay, controller. Here we go. Right hand controller. Boom. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. That was not assigned before. So it wasn't pointing to the controller at all. Oh! Woo! Oh, baby! Okay, it's not activating and deactivating, but holy shit, and look, it's erasing the old stuff because it has line points. Oh my god, I'm so excited that that's working. For fuck's sake. This has been driving me nuts for hours. Okay. Okay. So why isn't it deactivating? Because it should be only rendering this. It should be only doing this if is drawing is true. Is drawing is set to true. Let's set it false to begin with. Save. And letting go of the action should set that variable to false, which should break this if statement, which does all the drawing. So why isn't it breaking it? I'm going to force the variable to false on start. Let's see if it's drawing right away. It's drawing right away. So why doesn't it care if that variable is true or false? Is it because the line render needs to be turned on or off? Let me take a peek. I don't understand why that variable is not. Is it because I'm setting it to true? Oh my gosh, am I dumb? I think I typed this wrong. Is equals 2 equals, not 1. I'm setting this value to true. That should fix it. Maybe. Okay, so look, it's gonna freak out. Oh, it worked. And I'm letting go. Okay, and now it's connecting the points. Okay, so we have to generate a new line segment when it's let go of, or else it'll try and connect the two. But the trigger on and off is definitely working now. So a new line renderer has to be generated. A new line renderer has to be generated each time. Because it's just connecting those points. Let me see if ChatGPT knows. Let's go back and reference this code you gave me. How do I adjust this code so that a new line segment is made each time the user lets go and represses the mouse button? The reason I mention this is because when I let go of the mouse button, the line stops, which is good. But then when I re-click somewhere else, it's connecting the last. It's drawing a line between the last point and the new point I'm setting. I don't even think I need to explain that to it. Let me see if it gets it. No, I don't think this is right either. Because this will still, this will just erase the existing line. This code erases the existing line. I want the first line drawn to stay when they go to draw the second line without a connecting line in between. Okay. Yep. So it's adding a game object, and then we can add the line render. Okay. This should work. I'm gonna have to Frankenstein it into my trigger tracking instead of mouse tracking, and we'll be good. Okay, so we need to create a prefab that has a line renderer on it. Let's make a folder. Called prefabs. And in there, make an empty object. We will attach a line render component. We'll call it line for drawing. And we'll make it a prefab. Okay. And then we can reference that prefab. So let's go up here. We need the prefab there. We should put all the new stuff I added at the bottom so I can keep track. Okay. Oh, this stays the same. This stays the same. Reference the current line game object. This needs to... I think we need both of these. Okay, so we need both of these. And then... Oh my god, I was AFK and got killed. That's awesome. Never AFK. You should just camp out. Void update. We need to create a line. We don't have a line renderer here anymore. Yeah, AFKing is dangerous. So what's different here? I don't think we have a line render game object anymore. It was changed. So we can comment this out and not use it anymore. Everything else looks good. Line prefab and then current line. Line render, current line render. So current line equals instantiate. Instantiate. That's a weird word. Line prefab. So this should create the game object when we start pushing the button. And then it's going to reference that line render so we can control it. And then it sets up the width. So we'll use it with the new variables. I'm going to delete this here because this is going to go into the update function. Boom. So this sets it up. Let me make sure that those are referenced up there. Yes, they're all right. And then reset the number of points to 0 in the new line when this starts. Okay. So that's important to not get num points. We'll set this to 0 because this is how many points on the line there are. If we reset it to 0, it should. It's just gonna make sure that we're starting with no points pre-existing on this value, because this value is gonna have stuff in it when we let go to start a new line. We set all the things. We check, and then we need to reset the current line references so that a new line will be created on the next mouse click. So we're going to change those values here. When we let go. Could put it in as an if statement, but it should be fine here if we reset them right when the triggers let go. Let's try it. I'm gonna need to set that prefab. So in our drawing controller, I don't see our prefab. Where's our prefab variable? Current line equals instantiate line prefab. Maybe I just need to call it this and it'll find it. Is it gonna dig for the files? Maybe. Is it that good? There's no way. $63. Line render. Oh, right. Hold on. We need to update all of the line renders to current line render. Because it's using the old nomenclature and not pulling those variable values that we need. Okay, that's good. We want current line render here and here. Okay. I think that's all of them. There's one more line render that's broken. That's 72. Yep. Wait, what? The name line render does not exist in the current context. Oh, here. All right, that should be all of them. Let's give it a test. So with this edit to the code, we should now get new lines every time, and it keeps the old one. That's if it's grabbing the line prefab properly, which it's not. Is it making new line prefabs? No. That's because I didn't put it in. Line prefab goes in here. And to be sure, this has a line render. Good. Okay. No. Only tracking the position, but it's not grabbing the line render, or it's not setting its values. Holy shit. It definitely made a lot of line prefabs. So let's see what's going on here. In this updated code, a new empty game object is created each time the user clicks the mouse button, and a line render component is added to it. The num points variable is reset to 0, and the new line segment starts with no points. Then each time the user drags the mouse, the new points are added to the current line segment. Finally, when the user lets go of the mouse button, the current line references are reset so a new line can be created. This might be wrong still. All right, let me step through this. So we have the line prefab game object. That game object has a line render. It's getting in here and grabbing the controller position. And then it's setting the current line equals. I think it's doing this over and over again. If I hold the trigger, is it just generating a ton of prefabs? Because I only need to do it once. Let me see. Yeah, look at how many prefabs. It's just generating. Look at. And it's instantly setting them to 0. Okay, so we found our problem. We need to like not loop here. It just needs to do it once and then move into here. Can we nest another if statement? So if drawing is true, we do all this stuff. And then we can do an if it's null. If is drawing is true and and current line is equal to null, then loop there. Otherwise, do the other stuff. Because this sets it to not null, so it should only loop once here. And then it'll do this other stuff, and when it gets let go, it'll make it null. So that it'll reinstantiate them here. That should be good. I think so. Damn you. Okay, well, it's only generating one per click, one clone. So the line of code is working to fix that. Now it's just not. Now it's not drawing the line though. Let me double check. So this is on press, and then while it's being held down, do this stuff. I don't know if it's getting inside here. This is getting the position, which does need to be looped. So we need to get that out of there. So it wasn't constantly updating the controller position now that I added that. So add a new point to the current line segment. Current line render dot position count equals num points plus 1, which we have. Current line render dot set position num points to controller position num points plus plus. Else, there's no else. Is this it? possibly. I don't know if it's grabbing the new line renderer properly. It might be because it's assigning it to a variable right away. What is the console log saying? We need to debug log this. You know what? I think some of our biggest problems here is this new extra if statement. So when it's clicked, we should do that code where it sets up the line in the prefab for the line render, not in this update section. We can do it just on click. So pretty much all of this stuff, current line render, number of points. My brain's dying. I think we do all of this here. And then we do the drawing. We grab the position always. So we grab the position of the controller in here. And then we do this. Is that it? Now that these are outside? We were getting weird looping issues before? Maybe. Maybe. Oh, okay. We got a line. I let go. Oh, we got a second line. We'll call this one SOLVED. We solved it. Oh my god, we can finally draw in 3D space. Thank god, we got it to work. Holy shit. Success. Big success. Okay. So we can draw in 3D space. Cool. which should allow us to. Now we can. Oh god. Okay. Finally, we have runes. We have drawing in VR. Oh my god. Ooh. Oh, I hit the max number of points. Ooh. At least that max number of points is working. Amazing. Success. Oh man, I'm glad we got that working. Now on to the hard part. How I need to like what do? I store these values in an array and have it compare the line. I don't how do we give it an image? Oh my gosh. That was the easy part, chap. The hard part is getting some image recognition software to look at the drawings now and activate something based off of that. There was a lot of bashing my head against the wall, but we got it. We understand a bit more how the interaction system works. We can call a function. And we can do things when those actions happen or when they stop happening. That's our canceled, performed, canceled. And we got multiple lines going. Pretty happy. We basically just use ChatGPT to do this based off of mouse position. And then I input the knowledge for how to get controller position in here instead and replace the mouse position to controller position, as well as mouse button down to trigger presses. So, good. Yeah, ChatGPT helps a lot. It does help a lot. I'm glad it works. We have to have like a final art piece. What do we draw? We draw a classic cat. I'm gonna hit my monitor. This line is too thick. Cat. So I should be able to just change the thickness of this line with the variable in here that we set up. So in the draw controller, there's a line width. So we could do this at like 0.001. This might be like pencil thin. It's so tiny. So yeah, we could set the width as much as you want. It looks kind of cool though. It's like literally a pencil. So that's pretty cool. And you could make an in-game, well, let's say I was like making a drawing application. We can make in-game sliders that players can like drag, left and right, that would update this line width on the fly so they could set their actual width. Let's try 0.02. Okay, that's a little better. More realistic line size. Stop. Very cool. Very cool. Um, who's this guy? Do you guys know who this guy is? How do you draw a buff arm? You guys know who this is? This is a dude by the name of Trogdor. And he burns little huts down. And the people freak out and they go, "Oh no!" Oh. Ow! I keep hitting my fucking desk. Wow. Okay. It works. Complete. Step 1. Does our velocity and stuff still work? I'm gonna do a light swing. The velocity 8.7, damage dealt 2, direction of swing logged. I'm gonna do a hard swing. I'm gonna break my monitor. Velocity 22, damage dealt 5, direction from left to right. What if I do it down below strike? Direction 0, 0, negative 92. So yeah, it does detect it as a direction. 14 velocity. Okay, so the melee system and velocity is still working. And then we're swinging too early. So the too early is working as well. So the weapon delay still works. Awesome. Physics. Physics work pretty well. Oh shit. Yeah, the physics feel good on the weapon. I think bounce is nice. Yeah. Okay. Amazing. I think we can get rid of this original line. This object here, whoa, gets a little wonky. So let me delete, just as a little polished touch. I don't think we need the line renderer on our draw controller anymore. So remove component. And let me see if we still have that problem where that pink square shows up. Sweet, it's not there anymore. Yeah, because there was the line renderer bugging out. Yeah. Oh wow, interactions. Can I balance this on here? Physics. Okay, so I know, like, you're looking at this and it's like, wow, you got like a white stick and and boxes and yeah, cool, man. We just need to get all the bare bones stuff working, and then we can like make stuff look pretty. It's kind of cool. It interacts like that. Oop. Seems like really fast interactions kind of go through. But yeah. It's so hard to pick it up. Anyways. Yeah. I think we can call that a day. We made progress. Next big step is image recognition. That's gonna be hard. Because I've never done that before. Then again, I've never drawn lines in VR before either. So we'll try and bash our head against the wall and get that working. And I think I'm gonna go chill the rest of the night. We did one poll in EQ, and then I had an idea of how to solve the trigger press detection, and so we switched over really early to this stuff, so I can try and implement that. And we have it working. Huzzah. I'll see you all later. Chatters, lurkers, VOD watchers, I appreciate it. Go do something you enjoy. And I'll see you another time.